Hey guys, Jungle Explorer here, and today I am going to be showing you my famous pinto bean soup recipe. Okay? I am the only one that cooks it. Nobody else in my family even knows how to cook this, and I'm going to be showing it to you. This is the first time, a premiere reveal of my famous pinto bean soup. And listen guys, this is good. I'm telling you, there's not a person has ever tried this that didn't love it, didn't like it, didn't want some more of it, okay? So get ready, because this is it's not actually an easy recipe. It takes a little bit of work to do it, but at the end of it, you will have the best pinto beans you ever had in your whole life. Soon to be your favorite pinto beans right now coming at you from the Jungle Explorer. So let's get at it. Okay, step one, you're going to need you a good pressure cooker for this. Now you can do it without a pressure cooker, it's just going to take you longer. So the first step in cooking beans is the beans you choose. Now, you want to choose fresh beans. A lot of people don't know that the older beans become, the harder they become to cook. They get harder and harder and harder. So you want some new beans fresh out of the store if you can get them, because if you get those, they're going to cook faster and they're going to taste better. Now this is more of a medley soup than just strictly pinto beans. So we're not going to fill the pot with beans. This is a pretty big pot. It's a 6-quart pot. I'm going to put 3 cups of pinto beans in here. Whoa. Now the exact measurement is not too precise. You know what? This is actually 1.5 cup. So I put 2 of those in there. That's 3 cups. So we're going to do 3 cups. Now, very critical. Most people, when they cook beans, one of the mistakes they make is the type of water you use. Okay, most tap water has lots of things in it. It's minerals and stuff. It is purified for potable drinking, but it doesn't mean it's great for cooking. And it's especially important when you're cooking my recipe that you use either distilled water or good RO water, reverse osmosis water. If you lived in a clean tropical climate, you could use rainwater, but that's not the United States. So I've got a bottle of RO water here, and we want to go ahead and fill this up. So we're going to try to fill it up right up here all the way to these 2 little rivets here. Now it seems like a lot of water for the amount of beans I put in there, but you need this amount of water to finish this recipe, okay? So again, going over the water, you don't want to use tap water, you don't want to use mineral water, you want to use either distilled water or RO water for this recipe. Okay, now, we're not going to add anything to this, not even salt, because salt is a mineral, and we've done everything to get the minerals out of the water so that it doesn't affect the beans. So we're not going to add salt or anything, just water and beans, nothing else. Put your lid on, you're ready to go. Put it in place, make sure it's sealed, and light your stove. So we're going to start the burner on high until we build up pressure and the jiggler starts going. Then we will lower the burner down to a simmer state and let it pressure for about 30 minutes.
Okay, now that we've got our beans on, let's take this time while they're cooking to prepare some of the rest of the ingredients we're going to need. First, we're going to chop up or dice up an onion here. Okay, next we're just going to mince up a little garlic. You're going to need about 6 large cloves of garlic for this recipe. I just love these mini sweet peppers. They have a great flavor and they add a dash of color, yellow, red, and orange to the recipe that makes it look awesome. So these sweet peppers we're going to dice in larger sections just because of their color. We want them to be visible in the recipe. Okay, now we're going to add a jalapeno. Jalapenos have a great flavor and I really like them, but if you're afraid of the heat, you can actually take the seeds out of the jalapeno and that will reduce the heat by about 90%. So, you know, but I love their flavor, but I like to leave the seeds in for my soup. But let's mince this real super fine so that people don't get a big, huge piece of jalapeno in their mouth. Okay, now we're going to just chop up some green onions. So just one sprig will be fine. This is for our fresh ingredients, and you'll understand what that is later. Now we're just going to chop up a few sprigs of cilantro. Okay, now we'll dice up 2 Roma tomatoes in larger chunks. We don't want to dice these up too fine. And that's it. We've got our plate of fresh vegetables and herbs here, and our diced onions and garlic. Now let's go to the next step.
All right, so we got a pan with some hot grease in it, getting ready to brown off about a pound of ground meat. Now you can use ground beef if you want to. I'm an all natural guy. This is ground venison, lean meat. I like to use venison. I like its flavor, but not everybody has it, so you can use some ground beef if you want to. And we're just going to put this in here, and we're going to brown this off. Just chop it up. And we want this good and brown, almost. It's really good to use dry meat. Basically drain all the blood, all the juices off. The less juice you have, the less popping you're going to have. And we just want to just have little brown little balls, little hamburger balls, you know. So we're just going to keep chopping it up here. Good hot pan is the best. And we really want to get rid of all the juice out of it and brown it off. Okay, we can see now that it's starting to get a nice brown color to it. You see the lighter color ones, and then there's the darker ones here. We want it all to be that kind of dark toasted color. Okay, we can see here that it's all pretty good and brown. There's a few larger pieces that aren't brown, but it's all that nice dark brown color. Now we're going to add it over to our beans. So after about 30 minutes of simmering at pressure, we've got some steam coming out there. You want to take it off the stove and you want to check the softness of your beans. You don't want the beans to get too soft because we're going to do some cooking after we get it out of the pressure cooker. Now you don't have to wait forever for the pressure to go down. I mean, there's a lot of pressure in there. Just go ahead and run your pressure cooker under some cold water. And what that's going to do is, it's still boiling in there, so we're going to drop the temperature real quick by running the pressure cooker under some cold water. And as soon as the pressure drops, we'll be able to lift this. There's already still stuff coming out. We're just cooling down. It's boiling mad in there. So we're just cooling it down. And you see the pressure is dropping in it real fast. Now, if you stop cooling it off, it will heat up and pressurize. So while you've got the lid, pull that and go ahead and unlock it. Open it up because it will still boil. Make sure your water's not going in there. All right, so now there's our beans. Okay, so let's pull some out and see how they're doing. All right, look at there. Wow, it's actually too soft. In 30 minutes, it softened it that much. So we're ready. We don't need to cook these anymore in the pressure cooker. I actually cooked them just a little bit too long. That happens when you get really fresh beans that are brand new. They'll soften up, especially using the RO water. That's how fast the beans will cook if you use no minerals, no salt, and RO or distilled water. Those beans will cook really fast. Okay, so we're ready to go. And now it's ready to prep the other stuff to get it to put in it. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and put this right out of the pan, right in to our beans right here. Okay, we'll stir that in a little bit. Okay, we're going to go right back on the fire with the pan. We're going to drop a couple of pieces of sliced bacon here that I've chopped up, diced up. Just take 2 pieces of bacon. You don't have to use bacon if you don't want to. Yeah, if you don't want to use bacon, you can just use vegetable oil, but we're going to fry off some onions and garlic here too. But I like to do that in bacon grease for my recipe. So we'll just start off with a couple of pieces of bacon that I've diced up. You could use salt pork if you needed to, whatever you have. Just that pork grease there is what we're looking for. Okay, here we have the onions and the garlic that we diced up earlier. And I'm going to go ahead and just add the onions here. We'll fry it together with the bacon. We're not going to put the garlic in at this time because garlic actually toasts off really fast and it'll burn. The onions take a lot longer. So we'll add the garlic at the end when the onions begin to caramelize. Okay, so we can see that the onions have started to caramelize well. And we don't want to burn them. We do want them a nice brown color. But right about this stage, we're going to go ahead and add the garlic in here. Now garlic, it caramelizes and browns off really, really fast. And it actually will burn. And so this is a critical stage here. You just want to keep that garlic in here long enough. It doesn't have much water in it to kind of get that browning going on, the caramelization. And but you want to get it out straight into your bean pot as soon as that garlic begins to get a little toasty. Okay, we can already see that the garlic is beginning to get dark real fast, and we don't want it to burn. So even though there's some that are not toasted yet, you got to get it out. So we're going to go ahead and put it right over into our bean pot. Just go right in to our bean pot with it. Boy, I tell you what, that adds some amazing flavor. We'll go ahead and stir that in. Just got it on a low simmer because the beans were just a little bit overcooked. Okay. Now we're going to add in all the fresh veggies that I diced up. Here's the jalapenos, the cilantro, the tomatoes, the green onions, and the sweet peppers. Cooking is about contrast of flavor. Okay, you want things to taste differently. If you put everything in here and cooked it all together, it would all taste like one thing. But see, we cook the beans separate. The beans have the beans flavor. Then we cook the meat separate, and we cook the onions and the garlic separate. Now some things are cooked and some things are fresh. They give you 3 or 4 or 5 different contrasting flavors. Good food is all about contrasting flavors. So I have the fresh stuff in here, the cooked stuff, and because I didn't cook it all together to begin with, it's all going to have its own unique individual flavor. We still have a few more things to add, believe it or not, before we're done. So let me show you what those are. Okay, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of Himalayan pink salt. We're going to add 1/2 tablespoon of black pepper. 1 tablespoon of raw pure cane sugar. We're going to squeeze half a lime into it. And 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar. And we're done. And there you have it, guys. That is my secret recipe, Pinto Bean Medley Soup here, guys. So all we're going to do now is let it cook the vegetables just enough to where the vegetables, the raw stuff is cooked. Just, you know, not like totally cooked, but just where it cooks. We're going to boil it. I'm going to turn the heat up now just till it begins to boil. And maybe about 10 minutes when it comes to a little boil, and then we'll be done and then it's ready to eat. Look at that. All those colors in there. The reds, the yellows, the greens. You eat with your eyes before you taste with your mouth. And if something looks good to your eyes, it's going to taste good because your mind tells you that it's going to taste good. Okay? And this right here is going to taste amazing. We've got all these different contrasting flavors in here. We've got the beans that are the bean flavor. We have some salty flavor. We have a little sugar in there for a sweet flavor. We have vinegar and lime for the acid. We have the fresh flavor. We have the cooked, the toasted meat. We have the caramelized onions and garlic, little bit of bacon. Tell you what, this has a plethora of flavors in there. And when you eat this, and I'll tell you what, this baby right here, this is a full meal. And there we go. We can see the vegetables have started to cook just ever so slightly. We don't want to cook them all the way. We want to keep that fresh flavor. But we're done. Beans are cooked, meat's in there. And this recipe, you see the juice is kind of thick on it. And when it cools off, it'll actually get a little thicker, so it almost turns into kind of like a gravy. So we'll go ahead and turn the heat off. That's all it is. Doesn't need to cook no more. All right. And just get some out into a bowl, and there you have it right there. Oh my goodness, look at that. And I'm telling you what, guys, this is good, good, good. I'm gonna eat this bowl as soon as it's not boiling hot. Now, I'm gonna actually teach you guys a recipe to cook rice to go with this dish, a unique kind of rice that only my family cooks. We actually learned it from the tribe of Chocos in the Panamanian jungle. So I'm gonna teach you that next in another video. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please like, subscribe, and comment. Remember to click the little bell when you subscribe so you're notified about new videos. And until next time, this is the Jungle Explorer signing out.